Let's talk about FOMO. Have you heard of this? FOMO, F-O-M-O. This is an acronym for fear of missing out. And this is a tendency for people to want to do a lot of things. They want to do this, they want to do that because I see other people doing it, or I think maybe my friends are doing something without me and I don't want to miss a thing. I don't want to miss out. This is FOMO, and I'm here to tell you FOMO is a waste of time. FOMO doesn't make any sense. Now, to understand why, let's think of what would happen if we got to the end of our lives and thought we mislived. Bronnie Ware wrote a book called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, where she highlighted, in her experience, the most common regrets people had as they got to the end of their life. The first is that they lived a life that other people expected of them instead of living a life that was true to themselves. In other words, they didn't live a life according to their values. Regret number 1 that she saw people had: I did what I thought I was supposed to do. Regret number 2, I worked too hard. I worked too much. I might have even become successful, but I didn't have the time nor the energy to enjoy that success. I got to the end of my life and said, I was the best doctor, I was the best advisor, I was the best chiropractor, I was the best whatever, but so what? So I worked too hard is regret number 2. Regret number 3 is I didn't have the courage to express myself. I didn't express my feelings. I had things to say and things went unsaid. Almost like I was canceled. Regret number 4, I lost touch with my friends. I lost touch with my family members. We are deeply social creatures, and people regret losing touch with those people. Now, of course, a lot of these are going to be related. Not doing a thing that's in line with my values. It could be working too much. Working too much could have prevented me from losing touch with my friends. And maybe I worked too much at a place where I wasn't allowed to express myself. So a lot of these are overlapping. But the last one here is that I didn't allow myself to be happier. I didn't know that that happiness was a choice, or I was putting off my happiness. I'll be soon, or happy as soon as, and they keep putting off their happiness. So most people would say, well, I don't want to live a life of regret. This is the point she made when she wrote this book, first blog post, is that what if we knew these now so that we could do something about it? What if we knew this now so we could design a life of meaning instead? So we're now at a crossroads. Because we know what these are, we have a choice. We can say, I can keep doing the things that are more likely to lead to regret, or I can do things that will give me a life of meaning, something that I will think is meaningful. So what we want to do is we want to sit over here where we're at, and we got this vision, this path of a meaningful life, and we can do the things to go down the path of meaningful living to avoid regret, but sometimes distractions get in the way. We can become distracted by many things. One of these distractions is the fear of missing out. The fear of missing out keeps us from experiencing a meaningful life. And this has gotten worse because the Joneses, those proverbial Joneses, they used to be your neighbors, the Joneses. That's where this came from. And then we got access to TV, but it was still kind of just TV shows, fiction. But then came things like Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous and MTV Cribs, and now we're starting to see how other people live. And then comes social media, and now with social media, we get to see how our friends are living, but not just how our friends are living, what passes through the filter of what is social media approved, a curated version of their lives. And this is where fear of missing out comes from. Now, the social media and all the things that go with the internet, it's a paradox. Because you would think with the internet, with connection, with social networking, comes more access to information and our life should get easier. That is what we think because that's intuitive. That makes sense. Why wouldn't that make sense? We have easier access to more information. I can get my answer to my question a lot faster. That should make sense. But guess what else the internet does? Guess what else access to information does? It shines a light on all the other things you're not doing. It shines a light on things where you didn't even know you should be doing these things, or that there's these things that you could be doing. So the reality is that access to information, sometimes called the internet paradox, is the internet makes your life easier, but also shows you other things that you should be doing with your time. And so the net result is nothing. You're still just as busy. And so this leads to, with the number of options, your ability to make decisions, it goes up a little bit and then all of a sudden it drops off of a cliff. This is called sometimes choice paralysis, or the paradox of choice. The more choice we have, the harder it is to make a decision. And if you might think, if you're old enough, you remember Blockbuster Video, or for us it was like Premiere Video. There was video stores. You would actually go to a video store and you'd walk around the store. It was actually quite fun. It was a whole event. And you'd look for a movie and sometimes they didn't have it. You're like, oh, I didn't get here in time. The new release, they're all sold out. So you got to get a second movie. I get it. It's hard for younger people to imagine. When it was the choice between, I got 3 comedies to pick from, I could reasonably pick one of those. I could pick one and say, yeah, that's a pretty good choice. The other one might have been better, maybe, I don't know, but this is a pretty good choice. When you have access to Netflix and all the other competing streaming services, you've got unlimited comedies. Did you pick the right one? I don't know, I picked that one. But geez, I should have maybe picked that one. Maybe I should have picked that one. And pretty soon, I don't even know what to watch. This is the paradox of choice. Now, why does the paradox of choice matter? Because when you think about what you want to do, your sources of meaning, and how you live this meaningful life, you've got things to do. Some of those things are just things you have to do. Like, they're not really meaningful, although there are reframes where you could make it meaningful. But going to pick up the dry cleaning, is that really meaningful? Again, side note, reframe, it is, if you recognize the role of those clothes in your meaningful life. But mowing the lawn, is that meaningful? Doing all these chores, the laundry, those things have to be done. But also, in the course of designing the meaningful life, things have to be done as well. And so you've got yourself this nice little to-do list. And some people will think, well, as soon as I get the decks cleared, as soon as I clear off this to-do list, then I can get on with my meaningful life. Or my meaningful life needs to have all these things on it. My bucket list needs to get done. That's what's going to make my life meaningful. But the tricky paradox is that there's always going to be something to do. There's always going to be more things on your to-do list. That to-do list is seemingly never ending. And it's even worse when you start to play the FOMO game, where you think, well, what are all my friends doing? And I need to be doing that. And why ain't I doing that? And I should be doing that, but I'm not doing that. So now you've got this endless list of a to-do list, endless list of things to do. These are a distraction. These keep you from living that meaningful life. So, things worth doing. Here's the circle containing everything that's worth doing. Trying to do everything. Fear of missing out. That's not worth doing. Fear of missing out is a waste of time. If you can learn to get to this point, you will be happier, you'll be wiser, and you'll live a more meaningful life. You get one life. Live intentionally. Greetings, Derek again. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to learn more, please head to meaning.blog, and there you can learn about all things related to money and mindset and purpose and meaning. And you'll be able to find out how we might be able to work together. You'll find more articles. You'll find links to videos. You'll find online courses, all kinds of things to get you going on your journey towards living more intentionally.